Hello, my name is Megan Fessenden, and this is my keynote presentation about monitoring my online brand. My first slide shows my results from my online ID calculator. It determined that I was very digitally distinct, but unfortunately had a very low validation score. The second questionnaire that I took determined my brand's archetype, which ended up being most predominantly the entertainer, followed by the girl next door, the maverick, and then the creator. The three things that I really learned about my online brand was first how digitally distinct I actually was. I didn't notice that I had such a distinct online footprint in the online world. Second is how key validation is for my online brand. When it showed me that my validation was really low, it made me think that even though I was very distinct, is if I had no credibility, I couldn't really build up my online brand. The final thing that I learned was that the entertainer was my most prominent of all the archetypes. I had looked at them before I had taken the questionnaire, and I didn't put myself as an entertainer. But after I read all their qualities, it really started to make sense to me. And this is definitely something that I can look back on when choosing my future career goals. My next slide shows all about my Hootsuite account. In my toolbar, I linked it with 3 of my social media platforms, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram, and then I also added the app TrendSpotter on there. The things I'm looking after in my Twitter account are mentions of my handle. I also follow Full Sail Marketing and live events. I follow Full Sail because I feel they stay very current in the entertainment world, so it's something good to look after. And right now I am looking into going into live event production, so following live events and marketing through Twitter is a very good idea for my current career goals. The first article that I found that I felt could really enhance my career was about a conference that is being hosted in Atlanta. It had stated who was going to be there, why they were going to be there, and what you could learn from them. I think that this article could really enhance my career because it can help me gain perspective from people that are validated in their career, which currently I am not. So going to seminars and conferences could really help me further my career. My next piece is on my Facebook portion of Hootsuite. In my Facebook, I have my timeline to monitor what people are putting on there. And I also am following the Marketing Mind page, the Orlando Live Events, and the Facebook Business page. By following the Orlando Live Events page, I will be able to see local live events while I am living in Orlando. Since I am looking into event production, it could help me search for local events to maybe try to help in any way that I can. And also by following the Marketing Mind and the Facebook Business page, I can stay very current with any business trends that are going on in my career right now. The next article that I had found on Facebook was a Facebook Live event focused on how to build a brand and how challenging it is. I found this article particularly interesting because it gave a lot of the same advice that we had learned so far in this class. First was consistency, and the next big thing that they talked about was validation. And lastly, they also talked about identifying with your target market, knowing what they want and how to sell to them. The lady on the event had sold baby clothes, and she talked about her journey from just sewing one blanket and selling it on Instagram to eventually creating a whole business that sells all kinds of clothes, predominantly baby, but all kinds of clothes. Hearing her techniques and strategies could really help me identify with a fellow marketer in my future career. Next is Instagram. In Instagram, I am following some hashtags. The ones I'm following are Instamarketing, 2017, Help Wanted, and Orlando. As I was looking through these hashtags, they seem to be good ways about keeping up with current trends, especially locally with my hashtag Orlando. But unfortunately, with these hashtags, it is sometimes hard to find information relevant to what I'm looking for. I also briefly put a screenshot of the TrendSpotter app from my Hootsuite on here. I've just started to discover TrendSpotter, and it also does seem a good way to stay current with the trends that are happening right now. The last article that I had put up there was just an Instagram post from a user at some sort of concert. The only reason I had chosen this is my interest in live events and seeing it from my target audience's perspective. Just seeing the venue overall and the amount of people are there could really help me in my future career goals. My next slide is all about my Google alerts. Some of my alerts were obviously my name. I put Live Nation as the company that I was looking after. I also put entertainment, Apple, and Google just to see what was happening currently with them. When I set up my Google alerts for my name, thankfully nothing popped up right away. So I looked at previous results and it was all my social media account. The account I screenshotted was my LinkedIn account, which unfortunately I don't use too often, but with that being one of the main results of my name and how employers usually find their employees, it would definitely help in my career to update that. The next alert that I talked about was my entertainment business alert. And the article I chose was Starbucks opening at Blizzard Entertainment headquarters. The only reason I had chose this article was it's nice to see what companies are collaborating with each other, because not only do you see what companies work together, but you also see that the Starbucks brand and Blizzard Entertainment's brand feel comfortable working with each other because of what the other brand stands for. The last article that I chose on my alerts was Live Nation stock. Being that Live Nation could be one of the potential companies that I work for, it is very nice to know how they are doing business-wise and whether they're currently succeeding or failing. The next is my Feedly account. I showed all the different tabs that I have currently running for my feeds. And then underneath, I showed you some of the websites that I currently follow. The first article that I found interesting in my Feedly account was talking all about customer service and how just even being a bit above average in customer service could really win over a lot of customers. It talked about how companies' customer service is mostly average, and that bar is actually set pretty low for the average. In a company, having good customer service, even if the prices are a little higher, could really draw in a lot of new customers. I can refer this back to being an entertainer or trying to be in event production, that things can go wrong, but with good customer service, I can keep clients, customers, and whatnot coming back to my brand and business. The next slide that I had found was 13 tactics for event planners to stay calm in all situations. Like I had stated before, a lot goes wrong with events and planning. It really gave some good tactics as to how to deal with complications, stay calm, and still go forth in event planning. The last article that I had found was all about editing tweets. Now, mainly the article talked about Donald Trump had accidentally tweeted Covfefe and ended up taking it down, but he had talked about how he wanted to edit his tweet versus taking it down. I thought this article was interesting because it talked a lot about Twitter's target market and how everybody that tweets wants the ability to be able to edit tweets, but unfortunately can't. They just have to delete them and then retype the whole tweet. This article is something that Twitter's marketing team should be looking at because it's all about listening to their target market and what they want when they use their product. That is also good advice for my career, is I should listen to my target market when I am trying to assure that they come back to my company. That is all that I have. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great day.